We're now going to move on to our corporate partners. We work with Founders Forum as Longevity Technology as part of our work that we do in the event space. And we're joined today by Sara Pazin, who is actually at the front of Founders Health. So, Sarah, how are you doing?
Oh, there we are. I'm good. How are you, Phil?
Yeah, great. Well, I saw you running around yesterday, so I guess you're probably one of the busiest people in longevity, but love to hear about what you're doing at Founders Health.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can actually share a few slides.
Perfect.
Just one sec. I think, so one, I'm the CEO of Founders Health. Founders Health is a longevity business by the Founders Forum Group. So as Phil mentioned, we're doing a lot of different collaborations together, including running some longevity conferences, with one actually coming up pretty soon in Singapore next year. But kind of in the conversation of all of the things that we're looking at, it's where does so much of this stuff live? And really, it's going to be, it's these longevity clinics that are sort of starting to pop up everywhere. But really, it's going to be a quest of trying to build this right. And, our view is there's really going to be a few leaders in the space that are really going to get it right. And I think everybody is putting such incredible efforts in building it out today, but we're still in such a learning point where we're kind of trying to test and see what does and doesn't work. So at Founders Health, we are building a network of longevity clinics that are powered by tech-enabled care. And just a quick quote by the Dalai Lama was, "Man sacrifices his health to make money, but then ends up sacrificing his money in order to recuperate his health." So my question to you is, how much do you actually invest in your most valuable asset, which is your health? So obviously we know today's healthcare is a sick care model. We are only really engaging when something is wrong. And the truth is, when we look at us as individual people, we don't actually know or understand our baseline, our health baseline. And then, by then you go into a system and it often ends up being too late. These chronic illnesses progressing silently over the years and always kind of band-aids to try to fix it, but we don't really have a complete view of what it is that's going on with us. So at Founders Health, we're really focused on this preventative and proactive medicine approach. And it's by understanding your baseline today that we can actually help you improve and maintain and then optimize your health for the next decade and beyond. So what sets Founders Health apart is we're really here before you actually need us. And because the reality is that when you're 55, your health may seem fine, but without those right preventative measures, the next 7 years are going to be telling a different story. And, with us, you really have your care in your pocket. Whatever that problem is or what that need is, we work with you to get to the bottom of that. And we're really 100% focused on client outcome. So how are we doing it? Well, we have one of the most advanced physician and practitioner teams at our disposal, and we are working with select partners to be able to build out this complementary tech aspect. So really, we are a hybrid model that focuses on the premium longevity clinic side and then the tech-enabled care. And we know that it's important because, we've seen in the space, there's a lot of over-indexing on one side versus the other side. But what we're really trying to find is that complementary balance. And so, while we do employ the tech and precise measurable data to be able to really enhance people's health progress, we really never want to lose sight of what matters most, and it is having that human touch and expert care at our core. So in terms of our team, I sort of have at the top our leadership team. It's really a world-class experts in building, operating, scaling businesses. And of course, we have our founding partners being Brent Hoberman and Carolyn Dawson from the Founders Forum Group. And then that is combined with the world's leading experts in longevity medicine and anti-aging. So today we have 6 physicians, and we are growing that. And these are physicians who specialize across psychiatry, across functional medicine, oncology, internal medicine. So really we have a wide breadth of expertise. And then of course, supported by our multidisciplinary expert team experience. So we have performance and recovery specialists at the lead. We have nutritionists, and we're actually bringing on board a mental health expert as well. So I can walk you a little bit through of like how we actually deliver this integrated care. In my view, the sort of the initial entry point is that it's almost back to basics. Yes, we're developing the tech, and yes, I know everybody's moving at hyper speed to get a lot of this built, but it really starts with just a conversation and understanding that client. We put the client at the center every single time. They meet with the full team, and then we really work to understand your needs, your issues, your goals, and then we go through full medical history and full medical results to be able to put together essentially an aspect of a digital twin where we're able to present to you, this is where you are at, and this is what the trends are showing before we've even recommended what your next steps are. So once we actually have that picture, do we actually then say, these are the additional diagnostics that you would need in order for us to obtain the additional data to be able to build out this baseline for you. And then at that point, we can suggest to you the appropriate membership. So it is a membership-led business. We will initially sort of be seeing clients in a mixture of memberships and pay-as-you-go. But the idea is that under a membership, we're able to work with you along that entire journey to be able to intervene with the necessary therapies, medications, and support. And it really just lets you have the entire medical and wellness team at your disposal for that journey. And, we've already started seeing clients. So the clinic is set to open early January. So we have a medical aesthetics business today that we've acquired. So the clinic is in Belgravia. It's going through a refurb right now and a rebrand. So when we launch early next year, it will be under a new name. But we have already started seeing clients in the offline environment through our physician and practitioner teams. But yeah, we're ready to go, and we just have a few final bits to do, and we are going to be opening it to initially the Founders Forum community. So we're very lucky that we're powered by the Founders Forum group. Obviously, we know that the clinic business is a difficult business today, and we know that we're going in with price points that are more catered to kind of affluent and high net worth. But we are opening the waitlist initially to be able to learn from this process with people who are in our community. So through Founders Forum, we have access to over 15,000 industry leaders, CEOs, founders, investors, everybody working across tech, healthcare, government industries. But at the end of the day, these are some of the leading minds, and these are very high performers. There's burnout, there are mental health issues, there's gut problems, there's insomnia. And these are really people who are looking to optimize and kind of biohack their biochemistry, learn more about themselves, and looking for a team that can help them achieve this. So we've been having these conversations for almost 2 years with people within our network with different founders. And it's something that people are really looking for, but struggling to find where the right offering is. So we really are hoping that we're able to give that to this network initially while we sort of learn and refine. So we will be opening our waitlist very early January, and then there will be a public launch in 2025. And then the last bit is that we have this, we've sort of developed our foundations with a very strong clinical team through a joint venture model. So we are able to bring in the best and the brightest. We are hoping to secure our third joint venture by the end of the year. And that is going to be focused in women's health and reproductive aging. And so then the other bit is, well, where are we headed? So we are opening our first clinic this year, and that will be, very early January, and that's in Belgravia, really using it to learn and refine our model. But then next year, we will have our flagship clinic in London. The priority between both of these phases is really developing this robust digital platform. So we are starting with a clinical operating system. And then we will be building and expanding upon that. And we will be adding in the patient app. So that will be July August timing next year. And then beyond those points, we sort of have two pathways, which are the partnership led global expansion and then the tech play. So we are in conversation with some of the leading hotel groups about being able to add scaled back versions of longevity clinics in their hotels, not as comprehensive as we're talking about in standalone clinics, but being able to offer these services around the world. And then the tech play is, yeah, as we all know, as we continue to gather that data with the two digital versions that we have, we're going to be able to create this at much more mass scale. So yeah, that's all for me. Thank you so much.
Great, Sarah. Well, obviously, you've got some pretty ambitious plans there in terms of your scaling. So, we've got a couple of minutes before we go on to the next presenter. So, can I just ask you, you're pulling together kind of, different systems and processes, and we've just been running a survey recently of longevity clinics, which is still open at the moment. And one of the things that came back was the fact that gluing together all this complex personalized data is still quite a challenge for clinics. So you mentioned that you're kind of insourcing and outsourcing. So how are you addressing that challenge? Because it's quite a big one for clinics.
Yeah. So, I mean, what we are, of course, I would say sort of the biggest challenge is you're looking at this incredible team that wants to get going and they want to be able to see as many patients as possible, but it's time at the end of the day, right? We
Yeah.
actually had a client the other day who sent us 20 years of blood results, amongst other tests. But really, it's how are you taking all of that data, plus everything that he's already explained is going on, plus what those goals are, and how are you mapping all of that out? So really, like at the core of what we are doing, and I don't want to get ahead of ourselves and say that tech becomes the main focus, because we've seen what's been happening in the last couple of days alone with companies. It's just that heavy tech focus, and if we don't prioritize the client at the core, we can get ourselves into a tricky situation. So for us, it's having that kind of that AI as the co-pilot, being able to utilize a lot of the technology that's out there today to then be able to utilize it to our advantage and just save time. So we're really looking at how do we cut down physician time by 30% through building this type of technology into our systems and holding that data. So that is really the priority if we're going to look at trying to scale the physician time.
Yeah, yeah. And I've got a question here from Sujay. She says, are there any specific leading therapies that you and the team are looking to use in the clinic?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are, in my opinion, sort of the standard stuff is going to be in the clinic. So we'll have the hyperbarics, we'll have the IV therapies, we'll have the red light, but we're really looking at a few areas. We're looking at EBO, we're looking at therapeutic plasma exchange. So those are going to be therapies that are offered. And of course, beyond that, we have agreements and arrangements for people looking to do the stem cell therapy elsewhere, but obviously not as a part of the clinic offering. So yeah, we're exploring and investigating. We in phase one will have the core aspects ready for launch, and then the phase two will be incorporating some of the new therapies.
That's interesting. So I guess that you're sort of leaning into this question of about, okay, I'm in a hurry. I want this stuff. I'm kind of I'm in a regulated country, but I want to go into sort of more experimental things. So I guess without leading the question, you were saying is that you may be able to forward uh, prescribe people onto some other offshore potential therapeutics.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough in the industry because there's so much kind of different viewpoints on, what's right and what isn't right. And at the end of the day, we have the medical advisory board behind us. We have our physician team. We are meeting constantly and going through the different diagnostics and therapies and what makes sense, and what is according to standard, and if you are going out of that kind of realm of what you should be doing, is that justified, is that scientifically backed, is that tested? So we are very careful in our approach, but the reality is in this space, and some of these longevity physicians who are at the top of their game, it's stuff that they really do stand by and recommend. So it is going to be trusting our physicians, but really trusting our team and the medical board, which we have a very strong team behind us.
Yeah, great. Well, I mean, it all sounds fascinating. And I guess that another thing that came out of our survey was that a lot of clinics do struggle once they've established themselves, got beautiful facilities and so on, actually getting the right number of clients through the door. So you're leaning into the Founders Forum membership, which is a great starting point for you, right?
Yeah, we're very lucky to have the members that we have. And, this is something that Brent has sort of been conceptualizing for so long that he's had these conversations. He continues to have them. People want this at the end of the day, and they just don't quite know, especially these more affluent individuals, and they don't quite know where to get it. And for us, it's becoming less of having the physical space and really replicating that space everywhere, but it's let's create the space now for awareness. Yes, we believe that we will need to have a few, but it doesn't need to be the high growth in that capacity. I think we will learn from it as time goes by, and then the tech comes in, and I think it's really establishing that solid foundation and being able to create that space and that awareness for now, and then we'll see sort of where it takes us in a year.
Yeah, great. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah.
Great to have you on the panel as well. I know you're not able to join us later, but really interesting to see what's happening in that clinical layer. So again, yeah, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Good to see you.